The Nausicaans thought they had conquered Earth. They were wrong. Tyler Dixon crouched in the dense Montana forest, watching alien patrol vehicles hover past. Just weeks ago, he'd been a U.S. Army Ranger defending his country. Now he was a resistance fighter in his own hometown. The invasion had been swift and merciless. Nausicaan ships darkened Earth's skies, their superior technology and overwhelming numbers crushing human defenses. Major cities fell in days. Governments surrendered in weeks. The aliens established a global occupation, certain of their complete victory. But they hadn't accounted for human tenacity or guerrilla warfare. Tyler's military training kicked in as he observed the Nausicaan patrol. Their vehicles were impressive, but ill-suited for Earth's varied terrain. He noted vulnerabilities, already planning his next move. Retreating deeper into the wilderness, Tyler rendezvoused with fellow survivors. Former civilians now looked to him for leadership. He began organizing them into a covert resistance movement, teaching them the art of asymmetric warfare. They scavenged abandoned military outposts for weapons and supplies. Each successful raid bolstered their arsenal and their confidence. Tyler's knowledge of guerrilla tactics proved invaluable as they planned hit-and-run attacks on Nausicaan convoys and outposts. Miles away, in a commandeered human military base, Orion, the Nausicaan commander overseeing North American operations, received troubling reports. Scattered human attacks were increasing in frequency and effectiveness. Initially dismissing them as isolated incidents, Orion soon realized a coordinated resistance was forming. He ordered increased patrols and stricter control measures, unaware that his actions were driving more humans into Tyler's growing insurgency. As weeks passed, Tyler's group successfully ambushed Nausicaan patrols, destroyed supply depots, and gathered crucial intelligence on alien weaknesses. Word of their victories spread like wildfire, inspiring similar cells across the continent. Humans, thought defeated, were rising up with a ferocity that shocked their alien occupiers. Orion's frustration mounted as he failed to crush the elusive human fighters. He requested reinforcements, unaware that the Nausicaan High Command faced similar challenges globally. The aliens' conventional military approach faltered against Tyler's guerrilla tactics. As Nausicaan casualties mounted and resources strained, doubt crept into their ranks. They struggled to adapt to Earth's varied landscapes and the humans' unconventional fighting style. In a daring raid, Tyler's group captured advanced Nausicaan weapons and communication devices. This technological windfall allowed them to coordinate with other resistance cells and plan larger operations. The tide was turning. Orion, realizing the occupation faced a serious threat, became determined to hunt down Tyler personally. The stage was set for an escalating conflict between human ingenuity and alien military might. As Tyler prepared his fighters for their next strike, he knew the real war for Earth was just beginning. The Nausicaans had conquered the planet, but they were about to learn a harsh lesson about human resilience and the power of guerrilla warfare. Tyler's guerrilla tactics proved devastatingly effective against the Nausicaan occupiers. As weeks turned to months, his resistance cell grew from a handful of survivors into a formidable fighting force. What began as isolated attacks on alien patrols blossomed into a coordinated campaign that struck at the very foundations of Nausicaan control. On a crisp autumn morning, Tyler led a daring raid on a Nausicaan weapons depot nestled in the Rocky Mountains. His team moved silently through the pre-dawn mist, their footsteps muffled by years of combat experience. As they approached the depot's perimeter, Tyler signaled a halt. "Remember," he whispered to his squad, "we're after the energy rifles and force field generators. Anything else is secondary. Move fast, stay quiet, and watch each other's backs." The team nodded, their faces a mix of purpose and focus. Tyler raised his hand, counted down from 3, and gave the signal to move. What followed was a masterclass in guerrilla warfare. The human fighters moved like ghosts, disabling security systems and neutralizing Nausicaan guards with ruthless efficiency. Within minutes, they had breached the depot's main storage area. Tyler's eyes widened as he surveyed the alien arsenal before him. Sleek energy rifles lined the walls, their metallic surfaces gleaming in the low light. Compact force field generators hummed softly on nearby shelves. "Jackpot," he muttered, allowing himself a small smile. "Load up, people. We've got 5 minutes before their next security sweep." The resistance fighters worked quickly, filling their packs with as much advanced technology as they could carry. As they prepared to exfiltrate, Tyler planted a series of charges around the depot. The resulting explosion would not only destroy the remaining weapons, but send a clear message to the Nausicaans. Nowhere was safe from the human resistance. Miles away, in his commandeered military base, Commander Orion received news of the depot raid with nearly unleashed fury. He smacked his palm on the holographic display, causing the image to flicker. "Unacceptable!" he roared, his alien features contorted with rage. "How did they penetrate our defenses so easily? Where were our patrols?" A subordinate officer, visibly nervous, cleared his throat. "Sir, we believe the humans are using some form of advanced stealth technology. Our sensors are having trouble detecting their movements." Orion's eyes narrowed. "Impossible! These primitives couldn't possibly... unless..." A chilling realization dawned on him. "They're using our own technology against us." The commander's communicator chirped, interrupting his thoughts. It was a transmission from Nausicaan High Command. Orion's stomach dropped as he listened to the message. Their patience had run out. "Yes, Supreme Leader," Orion said, his voice tight. "I understand. I will not fail you again." As the transmission ended, Orion turned to his staff. "Implement Operation Swarm immediately. I want every available unit redeployed into smaller, more mobile teams. We'll beat these humans at their own game." He paused, his expression darkening, "and put out word to the human population. Anyone who provides information leading to the capture of resistance members will be rewarded. Food, medicine, protection, whatever it takes to turn them against each other." As Orion's new strategy took shape, Tyler and his team were already planning their next move. In a hidden cave system deep in the Bitterroot Mountains, the Resistance had established a makeshift base of operations. The newly acquired Nausicaan weapons were spread out on improvised workbenches, surrounded by curious fighters. Dr. Marcus Powell, a wiry man with unkempt gray hair and piercing blue eyes, moved from weapon to weapon, muttering to himself as he examined each piece. Tyler approached him, noting the excitement in the scientist's eyes. "What have you found, Doc?" Tyler asked. Powell looked up, grinning. "These weapons, Tyler, they're incredible. The energy output alone is, well, it's beyond anything we've ever developed. But that's not the best part." He picked up one of the rifles, turning it over in his hands. "See this panel here? It's not just for show. I believe it's a biometric lock, keyed to Nausicaan biology. That's why they've been so confident in their superiority. They thought we could never use their own weapons against them." Tyler's eyes widened. "Can you crack it?" Powell's grin widened. "Already have. Give me a week, and I'll have these beauties singing for us. And the force field generators? They'll revolutionize our defensive capabilities." As Powell continued his work, Tyler received an encrypted transmission from another resistance cell in Europe. Similar uprisings were spreading across the globe, inspired by the success in North America. Tyler spent hours coordinating with other cell leaders, sharing tactics and intelligence. The human resistance was no longer a scattered collection of desperate survivors. It had become a global network, united in purpose and growing stronger by the day. But their successes came at a cost. Nausicaan reprisals grew increasingly brutal. Reports filtered in of entire towns being razed in retaliation for resistance activities. Tyler knew they were walking a dangerous line. Every victory brought them closer to liberation, but also risked provoking the Nausicaans into more extreme measures. As Tyler pored over maps and intelligence reports, planning their next strike, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were approaching a tipping point. The Nausicaans were adapting, becoming more desperate and ruthless. Something had to give. Little did he know that far above the Earth's surface, a Nausicaan battlecruiser was dropping out of hyperspace. On its bridge stood General Zork, his eyes fixed on the blue-green planet below. He had come to end this rebellion once and for all, and he would not be denied. The war for Earth was entering a new, more dangerous phase. Tyler and his resistance fighters would soon face challenges that would test not only their skills and resourcefulness, but the very core of their humanity. The fate of their world hung in the balance, and the true test was yet to come. The arrival of General Zork's battlecruiser marked a turning point in the conflict. As the massive ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, Tyler Dixon watched from a hidden observation post, his eyes hardened tight. He knew the Nausicaans were escalating their efforts, and the resistance needed to adapt quickly. "We can't match their firepower," Tyler said to his assembled team, "but we can outsmart them. From now on, we focus on intelligence gathering and strategic sabotage. Hit them where it hurts without exposing ourselves." The team nodded in agreement, their faces a mixture of drive and apprehension. Tyler's first target was clear, a Nausicaan communication hub located in what used to be a human military base. Under cover of darkness, Tyler led a small infiltration team toward the facility. They moved silently through the underbrush, their bodies low to the ground. As they approached the perimeter, Tyler signaled a halt. "Remember," he whispered, "we're here for information, not a firefight. In and out, quick and clean." Using Dr. Powell's modified Nausicaan technology, they bypassed the security systems and slipped inside. Tyler's heart raced as they made their way to the central command room. Every shadow seemed to hide a potential threat, but their preparation paid off. They reached their objective undetected. While two team members stood guard, Tyler and tech specialist Lisa Chen got to work. Their fingers flew over alien keyboards, downloading terabytes of data on Nausicaan operations, troop movements, and potential weaknesses. "Tyler, look at this," Lisa said, her voice barely audible. "They're planning something big, some kind of atmospheric alteration project." Before Tyler could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. "Time's up," he said. "Let's move." They fled the command center, narrowly evading Nausicaan patrols as they escaped into the night. The information they'd gathered would prove invaluable in the fights to come. Back at their hidden base, Dr. Marcus Powell pored over the stolen data. His eyes widened as he processed the information. "Tyler, this is incredible," he said, looking up from his workstation. "I think I can use this to crack their force field technology." Over the next few weeks, Powell worked tirelessly. Tyler watched as the scientists' excited mutterings turned into triumphant exclamations. Finally, Powell emerged from his lab, holding a small device. "This," he said, grinning, "is our game changer. It can disrupt their force fields, even the ones protecting their most secure facilities." Tyler's mind raced with the possibilities. "Good work, Doc. Time to put it to the test." Armed with Powell's new technology, Tyler coordinated a series of strikes against key Nausicaan installations across North America. Resistance cells hit alien power plants, weapon depots, and command centers simultaneously. The Nausicaans, caught off guard by the humans' ability to penetrate their defenses, suffered heavy losses. As reports of successful operations flooded in, Tyler allowed himself a moment of hope, but he knew the fight was just the beginning. Their success caught the attention of an unexpected ally. Dr. Kira, a Nausicaan scientist, reached out to the resistance through encrypted channels. Her message was clear. She wanted to defect. Tyler met with her in a secure location, tension evident in every line of his body. "Why should we trust you?" he asked, his hand never far from his weapon. Kira's alien features twisted into what Tyler assumed was an expression of disgust. "Because what my people are doing is wrong," she said. "This isn't conquest, it's slaughter. I want to help end it." Over the following days, Kira provided the resistance with crucial information about Nausicaan biology and technology. Her insights allowed Dr. Powell to refine his inventions further, giving the human fighters an even greater edge. But General Zork was not idle. His new strategy targeted human food and water supplies, aiming to starve out the resistance. Tyler and his team raced to secure essential resources, establishing hidden underground farms and water purification systems. These efforts grew into a network of self-sustaining communities, providing safe havens for refugees and bases for resistance operations. In abandoned mines and remote valleys, humans began to rebuild, their grit growing stronger with each passing day. As the Resistance's capabilities expanded, so did their ambitions. Using captured Nausicaan spacecraft, Tyler coordinated daring raids on orbital facilities. Human pilots, trained in secret, struck at alien satellites and space stations, crippling the Nausicans' ability to maintain their occupation. News of these victories spread through hidden human communication networks, inspiring hope and bolstering recruitment. The Resistance was no longer just surviving, it was beginning to thrive. General Zork, frustrated by the humans' continued defiance, ordered the construction of massive fortified complexes in major cities. This consolidation of Nausicaan forces inadvertently gave the Resistance more freedom in rural and wilderness areas. Tyler seized this opportunity, establishing training camps and weapons manufacturing facilities in remote locations. The Resistance was transforming into a well-organized, efficient fighting force. During a scouting mission in the Rocky Mountains, Tyler's team discovered a hidden Nausicaan research facility. Intel suggested human subjects were being held there for experimentation. Tyler knew they couldn't leave their people in alien hands. "We go in at dawn," he told his assault team. "Fast and hard. Free the prisoners, destroy the facility, and get out." The rescue mission was a blur of plasma fire and explosions. As they fought their way through the facility, Tyler was struck by the dedication of his fighters. They moved with precision and purpose, their training evident in every action. Among the freed prisoners was Major Derek Hawkins, a former U.S. Special Forces operator. Despite his ordeal, Hawkins insisted on joining the Resistance. "I've got a score to settle with these alien bastards," he said, his voice hoarse but filled with conviction. As they integrated Hawkins into their operations, troubling news reached the Resistance. The Nausicaan High Command had initiated Project Apocalypse, a plan to terraform Earth's atmosphere. If successful, it would make the planet uninhabitable for humans. Tyler gathered his top lieutenants. "This is it," he said, his voice grave. "If we don't stop this, everything we fought for is lost. We need to locate and destroy those terraforming devices." The Resistance mobilized on a global scale. Human cells worldwide united in a desperate effort to save their planet. Intelligence suggested a major terraforming station was being constructed in the Midwest. Tyler knew this would be their most critical mission yet. As they prepared for the operation, tensions rose within the Resistance. Some members advocated for using captured Nausicaan weapons of mass destruction against the aliens. "We have to hit them with everything we've got," argued one fighter. "It's us or them." Tyler listened to the heated debate, his mind wrestling with the moral implications. The outcome of this decision would shape not only the future of their struggle, but the very soul of humanity. As the day of the mission approached, Tyler stood before his assembled forces. The weight of command had never felt heavier. He took a deep breath, ready to give the order that would set in motion their most ambitious and dangerous operation yet. Tyler took a deep breath, his eyes scanning the faces of his assembled team. The weight of their upcoming mission pressed down on him like a physical force. "This is it," he said, his voice steady despite the tension thrumming through his body. "We hit the Nausicaan terraforming station in the Midwest. If we fail, Earth becomes uninhabitable. Failure is not an option." Dr. Marcus Powell nodded, his fingers tightening around the strap of his equipment bag. "My disruptors are ready. We'll bring down their shields." Major Derek Hawkins, his face still bearing the scars of his time in Nausicaan captivity, checked his weapon. "Just point me at the enemy, Dixon. I'll do the rest." Dr. Kira, the Nausicaan defector, stood slightly apart from the others. Her alien features were set in a grim expression. "I've provided all the intelligence I can. Their security will be unlike anything you've faced before." Tyler led his team through the underground tunnels that had become the Resistance's lifeline. The smell of damp earth filled his nostrils as they emerged into the cool night air. Stars glittered overhead, a reminder of the vastness of space and the alien threat that had descended from it. They moved silently through the darkness, using the cover of abandoned buildings and overgrown vegetation. As they approached the massive terraforming facility, its imposing silhouette loomed against the horizon. Powell's hands shot out, grabbing Tyler's arm. "Wait," he whispered, pointing to a barely visible shimmer in the air. "New type of motion sensor. One step into that, and we're toast." Tyler signaled for the team to halt. "Kira, any insights?" The Nausicaan scientist studied the sensor field, her eyes narrowing. "It's based on quantum entanglement. Disrupting it will trigger the alarm." "Can we bypass it?" Tyler asked. Powell and Kira exchanged glances. "Maybe," Powell said, "if we can synchronize our movements with the sensor's quantum state." For tense minutes, Powell and Kira worked together, their fingers flying over handheld devices. Finally, Powell looked up. "We've got a window. Move fast, and don't deviate from the path I'm sending to your visors." One by one, they crept through the sensor field, following the flickering guide in their heads-up displays. Tyler's heart pounded as he stepped over the invisible threshold, half expecting alarms to blare at any moment, but they made it through undetected. As they approached the facility's main entrance, a new obstacle presented itself. Automated defense turrets swiveled on their mounts, scanning for intruders. "Those weren't in the original plans," Hawkins muttered. "Zork's personal touch," Kira explained. "He's been overseeing this project directly." Tyler's mind raced. "Powell, can you hack them?" The scientist shook his head. "Not without triggering a system-wide alert. We need a diversion." Tyler nodded grimly. "Hawkins, you're with me. We'll draw their fire. Powell, Kira, get inside and start the sabotage. We'll rendezvous at the primary control room." Before anyone could object, Tyler darted from cover, Hawkins close behind. The turrets immediately locked on, filling the air with plasma bolts. Tyler and Hawkins weaved and dodged, using rubble and abandoned vehicles for cover. As plasma sizzled past his ear, Tyler caught a glimpse of Powell and Kira slipping into the facility. The plan was working, but now they had to survive long enough to complete the mission. Inside the terraforming station, Powell and Kira moved swiftly through sterile corridors. Kira's knowledge of Nausicaan technology proved invaluable as they navigated the complex. "Here," Kira said, indicating a heavily reinforced door. "This is where they're controlling the atmospheric converters." Powell set to work, his fingers dancing over the alien control panel. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he raced to bypass the security protocols. A commotion in the hallway made them both freeze. The sound of boots and guttural Nausicaan voices approached. "We've got company," Powell whispered. But before either of them could react, the Nausicaan patrol rounded the corner and immediately opened fire on their own security forces. "What the hell?" Powell exclaimed. A Nausicaan officer stepped forward, lowering his weapon. "I am Captain Vrock," he said in heavily accented English. "We fight against Zork's dishonor. The terraforming must be stopped." Kira's eyes widened in surprise. "There are more who think like me?" Vrock nodded grimly. "Enough to make a difference. Now quickly, we'll hold off any loyal forces." With Vrock's rebels securing the area, Powell returned to his work. Minutes later, the door slid open with a hiss. "We're in," Powell announced. "Now let's turn this place into a very expensive pile of scrap." Outside, Tyler and Hawkins had managed to disable several turrets, but reinforcements were pouring in. They ducked behind a partially destroyed wall, plasma fire scorching the air around them. "We need to get inside," Tyler shouted over the din of battle. "Powell and Kira can't hold out forever." Hawkins grinned, the expression feral on his scarred face. "Then let's make a hole." He pulled a Nausicaan grenade from his belt, courtesy of one of Powell's modifications, and hurled it at the facility's entrance. The explosion rocked the ground, and through the smoke, Tyler saw their opportunity. "Now!" he yelled, and they sprinted for the gaping hole in the wall. As they fought their way deeper into the facility, alarms blared. The corridors became a maze of flashing lights and panicked Nausicaan soldiers. Tyler and Hawkins moved like ghosts, striking hard and fast before melting away into the chaos. They rounded a corner and came face to face with General Zork himself. The Nausicaan commander's eyes widened in surprise, then narrowed in hatred. "You!" Zork snarled. "The human who dares to defy us!" Tyler raised his weapon, but Zork was faster. With inhuman speed, he closed the distance between them, knocking the gun from Tyler's hand. "Hawkins, find the others!" Tyler shouted as he grappled with the alien general. "Complete the mission!" Hawkins hesitated for a split second, then nodded and sprinted down the corridor. Tyler turned his full attention to Zork, knowing that this fight could decide the fate of the entire operation. Zork's strength was incredible, but Tyler was quicker, more adaptable. He used the confined space of the corridor to his advantage, bouncing off walls and using momentum to counter Zork's raw power. As they fought, Tyler caught glimpses of the battle raging throughout the facility. Human resistance fighters and Nausicaan rebels fought side by side against Zork's loyalists. The tide was turning. With a ferocious effort, Tyler managed to slam Zork against a control panel. Sparks flew as the alien's bulk crushed delicate circuitry. Zork's eyes widened as he realized the damage he'd inadvertently caused to his own systems. Taking advantage of the momentary distraction, Tyler delivered a crushing blow to Zork's midsection. The Nausicaan general doubled over, gasping for breath. "It's over, Zork," Tyler said, standing over his fallen enemy. "Your terraforming project ends here." Before Zork could respond, an explosion rocked the facility. The lights flickered, and Tyler heard the unmistakable sound of massive machinery powering down. Powell's voice crackled over Tyler's comm unit. "Charges are set, Tyler. This place is about to become a very expensive fireworks show. Get out now." Tyler looked down at Zork, conflict warring within him. But before he could make a decision, another explosion sent debris raining down around them. The choice was made for him. Tyler turned and ran, leaving the Nausicaan general to his fate. As Tyler sprinted through the disintegrating facility, he saw his team, humans and Nausicaan rebels alike, fighting their way to the exit. Powell was coordinating the evacuation, his face streaked with grime, but his eyes alight with triumph. They burst out of the collapsing structure just as the final detonations began. The night sky lit up with the fury of their victory, the terraforming station reduced to twisted metal and flame. As the resistance fighters caught their breath and tended to their wounded, Tyler allowed himself a moment of hope. They had struck a critical blow against the Nausicaan occupation. But even as he watched the facility burn, he knew that the war was just getting started. Reports began flooding in from resistance cells worldwide. Inspired by their success, coordinated attacks on Nausicaan installations were beginning across the globe. The momentum was shifting. But with their victory came a terrible price. Nausicaan High Command, enraged by the destruction of their terraforming project, had issued new orders. Earth's major cities were to be razed in retaliation. Tyler gathered his team, their faces a mixture of exhaustion and grit. "We've won a battle," he said, "but the war just got a whole lot harder. We've got civilians to evacuate and Nausicaan weapons to neutralize, and we need to do it all before they can implement this scorched earth policy." As they began to plan their next moves, Tyler caught sight of a strange shimmer in the sky. For a moment, he thought it was debris from the explosion. But as he watched, the distortion tenacitied into the outline of a sleek, unfamiliar craft. "What the hell is that?" Hawkins asked, following Tyler's gaze. Tyler shook his head, a new worry creasing his brow. "I don't know, but whatever it is, it's not Nausicaan. Looks like we've got a new player in the game." The mysterious ship hung in the air, observing silently. As the resistance prepared for their next battle, Tyler couldn't shake the feeling that the war for Earth was about to enter a new, even more dangerous phase. The mysterious ship vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Tyler and his team to focus on the urgent task at hand. With the Nausicaans preparing to raze Earth's major cities, there was no time to waste. Tyler activated his comm unit. "All resistance cells, this is Dixon. Initiate Operation Worldwide Web." Across the globe, hidden transmitters hummed to life. Using reverse-engineered Nausicaan technology, Powell had created a secure communication network that linked resistance fighters from New York to New Delhi. For the first time since the invasion, humanity could coordinate on a global scale. "Hawkins, assemble Strike Team Alpha," Tyler ordered. "Your target is the Nausicaan Command Center in Berlin. Powell, get Engineering Team Bravo ready. You're taking out their weapons systems in Sydney." As his lieutenants mobilized their forces, Tyler studied a holographic map of Earth. Red dots indicated Nausicaan strongholds, while blue represented resistance cells. He watched as the blue dots began to move, converging on key targets. "What about us?" Dr. Kira asked, her alien features set in dedication. Tyler's eyes narrowed as he focused on a pulsing red dot high above the planet's surface. "We're going after the big fish, their primary command ship." The plan was audacious, bordering on suicidal. But with Earth's future hanging in the balance, they had no choice but to take the fight directly to the Nausicaan leadership. As resistance cells worldwide launched diversionary attacks, Tyler led his small team to a hidden hangar. Inside sat a Nausicaan shuttle, its sleek lines a stark contrast to the jury-rigged human vehicles around it. "You sure this will work?" Hawkins asked, eyeing the alien craft warily. Kira nodded. "I've modified the transponder. It will read as a high-priority medical transport." They boarded the shuttle, the interior uncomfortably alien. Tyler took the pilot's seat, his hands hovering over the unfamiliar controls. With a deep breath, he activated the engines. The shuttle rose smoothly, accelerating through the atmosphere. As they broke through the cloud cover, the vastness of space opened up before them. And there, dominating the view, was the massive Nausicaan command ship. "Incoming transmission," Powell reported, his fingers dancing over a console. "They're asking for authorization codes." Tyler glanced at Kira, who nodded and began transmitting a series of complex signals. Tense seconds passed as they waited for a response. Finally, a gruff Nausicaan voice came through the speakers. "Medical transport, you are cleared for docking bay 3. Collective sighs of relief filled the shuttle as Tyler guided them towards the designated bay. As they touched down, he turned to his team. "Remember, we're not here to fight every Nausicaan on this ship. We get to the bridge, we take control, we end this war. Let's move." They exited the shuttle, moving with purposeful strides through the cavernous docking bay. Kira's Nausicaan physiology and the team's stolen uniforms allowed them to pass unchallenged through the initial security checkpoints. As they entered the main corridors of the ship, the illusion of normalcy quickly shattered. Alarms blared, and the ship rocked from distant explosions. "Looks like our diversion is working," Hawkins grinned, hefting his weapon. They encountered their first real resistance at a security bulkhead. A squad of Nausicaan soldiers opened fire, forcing the team to take cover behind alien machinery. Powell produced a small device from his pack. "Fire in the hole!" he shouted, tossing it towards the Nausicaans. The device erupted in a blinding flash of light and sound, disorienting the aliens long enough for Tyler and Hawkins to take them down with precise shots. As they fought their way deeper into the ship, Tyler's comm unit crackled to life. It was Hawkins's second-in-command on the ground. "Sir, Strike Team Alpha has breached the Berlin Command Center. We're encountering heavy resistance, but we're pushing through." Similar reports flooded in from around the globe. In Sydney, Powell's engineering team had successfully disabled the Nausicans' primary weapon control systems. Resistance cells in Lagos, Buenos Aires, and Tokyo reported significant gains against the invaders. The news galvanized Tyler's team as they battled toward the bridge. They were battered and bleeding, but the taste of victory drove them forward. Finally, they reached the massive doors leading to the command center. Powell set to work on the locking mechanism while the others provided cover. "We've got company!" Hawkins shouted as a fresh wave of Nausicaan soldiers poured into the corridor. The air filled with plasma fire as Tyler and his team fought desperately to hold their position. Powell worked feverishly, his face slick with sweat as he bypassed one security protocol after another. Just as it seemed they would be overwhelmed, the doors slid open with a hiss. "We're in!" Powell yelled. They retreated into the bridge, sealing the doors behind them. As Hawkins and Kira secured the room, Tyler found himself face-to-face with the Nausicaan Supreme Commander, Drakthor. The alien leader was massive, his scarred face contorted with rage. "You dare invade my ship!" he roared, drawing a wicked-looking blade. Tyler raised his weapon, but Drakthor was upon him in an instant, knocking the gun aside. They grappled fiercely, crashing into control panels and view screens. Drakthor's strength was overwhelming, but Tyler's countless battles against the invaders had honed his skills to a razor's edge. He used the Nausicaaan's size against him, redirecting his momentum and striking at vulnerable points. As they fought, Tyler caught glimpses of the battle raging outside. Earth's atmosphere was alight with explosions as commandeered Nausicaan ships engaged the invaders' fleet. On the planet's surface, blue indicators representing resistance forces pushed back the red of the Nausicaan occupation. With a ferocious effort, Tyler managed to disarm Drakthor, sending the alien's blade skittering across the floor. They stood facing each other, both bloodied and panting. "It's over, Drakthor," Tyler said, his voice steady despite his exhaustion. "Your forces are in retreat. Surrender, and we can end this without further bloodshed." The Nausicaan commander's eyes darted to the tactical displays, taking in the dire situation. His shoulders slumped as the fight drained out of him. "I yield," Drakthor growled. "The Nausicaan forces will stand down." Tyler nodded to Powell, who had taken control of the ship's communications array. "Broadcast the surrender order. All frequencies, all languages." As Powell complied, Tyler turned back to Drakthor. "Now you're going to help us clean up this mess you've made of our planet." The Supreme Commander's surrender echoed across the globe. On every continent, Nausicaan soldiers laid down their arms. The tide of battle shifted decisively as more alien craft fell under human control. From the command ship's bridge, Tyler watched as the people of Earth emerged from hiding, flooding into streets and squares. Their cheers were silent in the vacuum of space, but he could feel their jubilation in his bones. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Tyler realized that the hard work was just beginning. They had won the war, but now they faced the monumental task of rebuilding their shattered world. His musings were interrupted by a priority alert on the command console. A new ship had entered Earth's orbit, its design unlike anything in the Nausicaan database. "Incoming transmission," Powell reported, his voice tinged with awe. "They're identifying themselves as representatives of the Galactic Council." Tyler straightened his shoulders, acutely aware of his battered appearance and the alien surrounding him. Whatever came next, it was clear that humanity's place in the universe had changed forever. "Open a channel," he said, stepping forward to greet Earth's new visitors. Visitors. Tyler took a deep breath, straightened his posture, and nodded to Powell. "Open a channel." The view screen flickered to life, revealing a being unlike any Tyler had ever seen. The alien had blue skin, white hair, and two antennae that twitched slightly as it spoke. "Greetings, people of Earth. I am Ambassador Zax of the Galactic Council. We have observed your struggle against the Nausicaan invasion with great interest. Your victory has earned you a place at the galactic table." Tyler stepped forward, acutely aware of the weight of this moment. "Ambassador Zax, I'm Tyler Dixon, acting as Earth's representative. We welcome the opportunity for dialogue and cooperation." As Tyler engaged in initial discussions with Zax, the magnitude of Earth's new reality began to sink in. The war was over, but a new era of challenges was just beginning. In the weeks that followed, Tyler found himself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. A provisional global government was hastily assembled, with Tyler reluctantly accepting a leadership role. His days became a blur of meetings, negotiations, and crisis management. One morning, as he reviewed reports in the newly established Global Command Center, Dr. Marcus Powell burst into the room, his eyes alight with excitement. "Tyler, you need to see this," he said, activating a holographic display. "We've made a breakthrough in adapting Nausicaan energy systems. If we implement this technology globally, we could accelerate our rebuilding efforts tenfold." Before Tyler could respond, Major Derek Hawkins entered, his face grim. Sir, we've got a situation. There's growing unrest in several major cities. People are demanding we destroy all Nausicaan tech, claiming it's too dangerous to keep around. Tyler rubbed his temples, feeling the weight of competing priorities. Powell, I understand the potential benefits, but we need to proceed with caution. Hawkins, organize a town hall series to address people's concerns. We need to maintain unity. As if on cue, Ambassador Zax requested an urgent meeting. Tyler made his way to the diplomatic wing, where the Andorian waited, his antennae twitching with nervous energy. Mr. Dixon, Zax began, I bring news from the Galactic Council. Several races have expressed interest in forming alliances with Earth. However, I must also warn you of potential threats. There are expansionist empires that view your planet as a strategic asset. Tyler's mind raced with the implications. Thank you, Ambassador. We'll need to bolster our defenses while pursuing diplomatic relations. It's a delicate balance. Recognizing the need for a strong deterrent, Tyler initiated a program to reverse engineer the Nausicaan warships left behind after the invasion. He appointed Major Hawkins to lead the effort, combining human ingenuity with alien technology. As weeks turned into months, Earth's recovery progressed, but not without setbacks. Reports began flooding in of a mysterious illness, affecting humans who had prolonged exposure to Nausicaan technology. Dr. Powell worked tirelessly to identify the cause, eventually tracing it to trace radiation emitted by certain alien devices. Tyler organized a global effort to contain the outbreak and find a cure. He recruited Dr. Kira, the Nausicaan defector, to assist in understanding the alien radiation and its effects on human biology. The radiation alters human cellular structure in ways we've never seen before, Dr. Kira explained during a briefing. But I believe we can develop a treatment using a combination of Nausicaan medical technology and Earth-based gene therapy. As they raced against time to find a cure, thousands fell ill. The crisis fueled anti-alien sentiment among some human populations, threatening the fragile global unity. Amidst these internal struggles, Earth faced its first major diplomatic test. Chancellor Korg of the Proxima Centauri system claimed several asteroid mining operations established by humans during the Resistance as part of their sovereign territory. Tyler found himself in tense negotiations, trying to balance Earth's interest with the need for galactic cooperation. During a particularly heated exchange, Korg's holographic image loomed large in the conference room. These operations were established under Nausicaan occupation, Korg argued, his voice booming. With their defeat, the territory reverts to Proximan control. Tyler leaned forward, his voice calm but firm. Chancellor, those mining operations were built and maintained by human hands. They represent a critical resource for Earth's recovery. Surely we can find a compromise that benefits both our peoples. As negotiations stalled, Tyler made the decision to leverage Earth's newfound alliance with the Galactic Council, requesting their mediation in the dispute. Just as it seemed progress was being made on multiple fronts, new threats emerged. Intelligence reports revealed that remnant Nausicaan forces were regrouping in a distant star system, led by a hardline general named Grok, who refused to accept the surrender. Simultaneously, a radical human faction calling themselves Earth First began gaining traction. Led by the charismatic but extremist Colonel James Ironheart, they advocated for aggressive expansion into space and preemptive strikes against potential alien threats. Tyler watched with growing concern as Ironheart addressed a crowd in what used to be Central Park. We defeated the Nausicaans through strength and human ingenuity, Ironheart shouted, his voice carrying over the enthusiastic crowd. We don't need alien alliances or technology. Earth must stand alone and strong. The cheers that followed sent a chill down Tyler's spine. He realized that Earth's survival and prosperity in the galactic community would require not just military strength, but also diplomatic finesse and internal unity. As these challenges mounted, Tyler made a bold decision. He announced a global summit, inviting representatives from all nations, as well as key alien allies. The summit would aim to forge a unified approach to Earth's future in the galaxy and address the various crises at hand. As delegates began to arrive for this crucial meeting, Tyler stood at the window of his office, overlooking the partially rebuilt skyline of New York. The setting sun cast a golden glow over the mix of human and alien architecture, a visible reminder of Earth's transformed reality. His contemplation was interrupted by an urgent message from Powell. "Tyler, we've intercepted communications, suggesting both the Nausicaan holdouts and Earth-first extremists are planning to sabotage the summit. We need to act fast." Tyler's fists tight as he processed this new threat. The summit represented Earth's best hope for unity and progress. He couldn't let it be derailed by extremists on either side. As he began formulating a plan to secure the summit and outmaneuver the saboteurs, Tyler knew that the decisions made in the coming days would shape not just Earth's future, but its place in the vast, complex tapestry of galactic civilization. Tyler's fingers flew across the holographic interface, implementing new security protocols for the upcoming summit. The stakes were higher than ever, and he couldn't afford any mistakes. "Major Hawkins," he called out, "I need you to lead a joint security task force. Combine our best people with our alien allies' security teams. We need to create an impenetrable defense around the summit location." Hawkins nodded, his eyes gleaming with drive. "I'm on it, sir. We'll use a mix of human and alien tech to cover all angles." As Hawkins left to assemble his team, Dr. Powell burst into the room, his lab coat fluttering behind him. "Tyler, we've done it. We've developed a new detection system that can identify both Nausicaan and human infiltrators." Tyler's eyebrows rose. "How does it work?" Powell activated a 3D model, showcasing a complex network of sensors. "We've combined reverse-engineered Nausicaan tech with our latest innovations. This system can detect even the most sophisticated cloaking devices and disguises. It's like a web of invisible tripwires, each attuned to specific biological and technological signatures." "Excellent work, Marcus," Tyler said, clapping him on the shoulder. "Get it set up around the perimeter immediately." As the summit drew near, the atmosphere in the Global Command Center grew tense. Ambassador Zax arrived, his antenna twitching nervously. "Mr. Dixon, I bring concerning news from the Galactic Council. Many members are expressing doubts about Earth's ability to maintain stability and manage its newfound power. The success of this summit is crucial for your planet's standing in the galactic community." Tyler's expression resolute. He knew the risks, but he also saw an opportunity. "Ambassador, I have a plan. It's bold, perhaps even controversial, but I believe it's necessary." He turned to his communications officer. "Send out a public announcement. We're extending an open invitation to Colonel James Ironheart, leader of the Earth First movement, to participate in the summit as a delegate." The room fell silent. Powell was the first to speak up. "Tyler, are you sure about this? Ironheart's group has been causing nothing but trouble." "I know it's a risk," Tyler replied, "but we need to bring them into the fold, address their concerns openly. It's better than risking a violent confrontation." As preparations continued, Dr. Kira approached Tyler with excitement in her eyes. "I've made a breakthrough in mitigating the effects of alien technology on human biology," she explained, holding up a small device. "This protective shield can be integrated into clothing and buildings. It blocks the harmful radiation we've been struggling with." Tyler's eyes widened as he grasped the implications. "This could change everything, Dr. Kira. It might even sway some of the Earth First supporters." The day of the summit arrived. Delegates from around the world and beyond began to file into the massive conference center, a marvel of human and alien architecture. Tyler stood at the podium, surveying the diverse crowd before him. "Distinguished delegates," he began, his voice steady and clear. "We gather here today at a pivotal moment in Earth's history. Our planet stands on the threshold of a new era, one of unprecedented challenges and extraordinary opportunities." As Tyler outlined his vision for Earth's future, balancing technological advancement with cultural preservation, he could see the delegates listening intently. Even Colonel Ironheart, seated in the back with his arms crossed, seemed to be paying close attention. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the building. Red lights flashed as Powell's voice came over the comm system. Multiple intrusion attempts detected. Security breach in sectors 3, 7, and 12. Chaos erupted in the conference hall. Tyler's voice cut through the panic. Everyone remain calm and stay in your seats. Our security teams are handling the situation. He activated his wrist communicator. Hawkins, status report. Sir, we've got a coordinated attack by both Nausicaan infiltrators and Earth-First extremists, Hawkins replied, the sound of energy weapons discharging in the background. They seem to be unaware of each other's presence, which is causing additional chaos. Tyler's mind raced. He turned to Ambassador Zax. I need you to engage with the Earth-First faction. Use your diplomatic skills to open a dialogue with them. Show them that their actions are jeopardizing the very future they claim to protect. Zax nodded, his antennae straightening with grit. I will do my best, Mr. Dixon. Tyler then addressed the security team. I'm heading to confront the Nausicaan saboteurs. Direct me to their location. Guided by Hawkins's instructions, Tyler made his way through the building's winding corridors. He could hear the sounds of struggle ahead. Rounding a corner, he found himself face to face with a group of Nausicaan infiltrators. Drawing on his knowledge of their tactics, Tyler outmaneuvered the intruders, herding them into a section of the building specifically designed to neutralize their advanced weaponry. The Nausicaans found themselves trapped, their energy weapons rendered useless by the room's unique properties. Meanwhile, Ambassador Zax had managed to make contact with the Earth-First operatives. His calm, reasoned voice echoed through the building's communication system. I understand your concerns, Zax said, his tone empathetic yet firm. But consider the consequences of your actions. You claim to protect Earth's interests, yet you risk destroying the very alliances that could secure your planet's future. There is a place for your voice within this summit. Let us talk, openly and honestly, about your fears and aspirations. To everyone's surprise, some of the Earth-First members began to lower their weapons. The sight of humans and aliens working together to defend the summit had shaken their convictions. As the immediate threat subsided, Tyler returned to the main conference hall. The delegates were shaken but unharmed. He took his place at the podium once more, his clothes slightly disheveled, but his voice strong. What we've just witnessed, he said, looking out at the crowd, is a powerful demonstration of what we can achieve when we work together. Humans and aliens standing side by side, defending our shared future. This is the unity we must strive for as we move forward. The summit resumed with renewed vigor. Negotiations took on a new urgency, with even the most contentious issues finding resolution. The dispute with Proxima Centauri was settled with a joint development plan for the contested asteroid belt, setting a precedent for future interstellar cooperation. As the final day of the summit dawned, Tyler stood before the assembled delegates, holding up a document. The Earth Accords, he announced, a comprehensive agreement that will guide our planet's integration into the galactic community. It outlines our shared commitments to defense, technology sharing, and cultural exchange. Moreover, it establishes a framework for addressing the concerns of those who remain skeptical of our new alliances. One by one, the delegates came forward to sign the historic document. Even Colonel Ironheart, after much deliberation, added his signature, acknowledging the need for unity in the face of greater challenges. As the summit concluded and delegates began to depart, Tyler felt a moment of relief. But it was short-lived. His communicator buzzed urgently. Sir, came the voice of his intelligence officer. We've just received confirmation. General Grok, leader of the Nausicaan holdouts, is mobilizing his forces. They're preparing for a desperate assault on Earth. Tyler's expression hardened as he absorbed the news. The Earth Accords had been signed, but their true test was yet to come. As he looked out at the departing delegates, he knew that the final confrontation with the Nausicaan threat would determine whether Earth's newfound alliances would hold and whether humanity was truly ready to take its place among the stars. Stars among the galactic community. Tyler's eyes narrowed as he processed the intelligence officer's report. The celebration of the Earth Accords signing faded quickly, replaced by a laser focus on the looming threat. Understood. Initiate Protocol Omega. Tyler commanded, his voice steady. Gather the War Council immediately. Within minutes, the Global Command Center buzzed with activity. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing the positions of Grok's forces at the edge of the solar system. Tyler stood at the center, surrounded by Earth's top military brass, alien allies, and even representatives from the Earth First movement. General Grok is making his final play, Tyler announced, gesturing to the tactical display. This is our chance to end the Nausicaan threat once and for all. Major Derek Hawkins stepped forward, his uniform crisp despite the tension in the air. Sir, our new hybrid fleet is ready for deployment. We've integrated Nausicaan weapon systems with our stealth technology. They won't see us coming. Dr. Marcus Powell activated a holographic model of Earth, surrounded by a shimmering field. And this is our ace in the hole, he explained, his eyes gleaming with excitement. We've adapted Nausicaan shield technology to create a planet-wide defensive barrier. It should buy us crucial time if Grok's forces break through our outer defenses. Ambassador Zax's antennae twitched as he delivered his report. The Galactic Council has agreed to dispatch a contingent of ships to aid in Earth's defense. They're small in number, but pack a significant punch. Tyler nodded, his mind already formulating a strategy. Good. We'll need every advantage we can get, but we're not going to meet Grok head-on. That's exactly what he's expecting. He manipulated the holographic display, zooming in on the space between Earth and the approaching Nausicaan fleet. Dr. Powell, those experimental satellites we discussed, are they ready? Powell grinned. Just finished the final calibrations. They're primed and ready for deployment. Excellent, Tyler said, outlining his plan to the assembled leaders. We'll create a maze of short-range wormholes throughout the solar system. When Grok's fleet arrives, they'll find themselves fragmented and disoriented. Major Hawkins leaned in, studying the tactical display. And while they're confused, we strike hard and fast, targeting their command ships and heavy weapons platforms. As the War Council finalized the details of Earth's defense, Tyler pulled Dr. Kira aside. I need you for a special mission, he said in a low voice. We're going to board Grok's flagship. Kira's eyes widened, but she nodded resolutely. I'm ready. My knowledge of Nausicaan systems should prove useful. Hours later, as Grok's fleet entered the solar system, Tyler's plan sprang into action. The network of cloaked satellites activated, tearing holes in the fabric of space-time. Nausicaan ships found themselves suddenly separated from their squadrons, appearing in unexpected locations throughout the system. From the bridge of Earth's lead hybrid warship, Major Hawkins coordinated the assault. All ships engage targets of opportunity, concentrate fire on their command vessels. The space around Earth erupted in a dazzling display of weapons fire. Earth's ships, melding human and alien technology, darted between the disoriented Nausicaan vessels, striking with deadly precision. Meanwhile, Tyler piloted a stealth ship through the chaos, aiming for Grok's massive flagship. Approaching Docking Bay 3, he announced to his small team, prepare for boarding action. The moment they breached the Nausicaan ship's hull, Tyler and his team found themselves in a furious close-quarters battle. They fought their way through the corridors, using tactics honed during the long months of guerrilla resistance. Dr. Kira worked feverishly at each security checkpoint, her fingers flying over alien control panels. I've locked down sections 12 through 18, she reported. That should slow down their response teams. As they neared the bridge, Tyler's comm unit crackled to life. Sir, came Major Hawkins' voice, we're detecting a massive energy buildup in Grok's flagship. Whatever they're planning, it's big. Tyler and his team redoubled their efforts, fighting through the last of Grok's elite guards to reach the bridge. The doors slid open, revealing General Grok himself, looming over a pulsing, ominous device. You're too late, humans, Grok snarled, his tentacles writhing. This device will ignite your sun, destroying your entire system. If we can't have Earth, no one will. Tyler raised his weapon, but Dr. Kira was already in motion. She dove towards the alien device, her hands moving with incredible speed over its control surface. Tyler, cover me, she shouted. I need time to disable it. As Tyler and his team engaged in a desperate firefight with Grok and his remaining guards, Dr. Kira worked to disarm the Doomsday device. Outside, the space battle raged on, Earth's forces slowly gaining the upper hand against the fragmented Nausicaan fleet. "Hawkins!" Tyler barked into his comm unit between bursts of weapon fire. "Target the flagship's power core. We need to shut this ship down." On Earth, citizen militias repelled attempted landings by Nausicaan shock troops. The sight of humans and aliens fighting side by side against the invaders solidified the alliances forged at the summit, erasing any lingering doubts about Earth's new place in the galactic community. Back on the flagship's bridge, Dr. Kira let out a triumphant shout. "Device neutralized!" she announced just as the ship shuddered under the impact of Earth's fleet's coordinated assault on its power systems. Grok, seeing his plans crumble around him, slumped in defeat. Tyler approached the Nausicaan general, his weapon trained steadily. "It's over, Grok. Your forces are in disarray, your flagship is crippled, and Earth stands united with its allies. Surrender, and we can end this without further bloodshed." The Nausicaan general's eyes darted between Tyler, the disabled Doomsday device, and the tactical displays showing the remnants of his once mighty fleet. With a guttural growl of frustration, Grok lowered his weapons. "I surrender," he ground out. Tyler nodded, then activated his comm unit. "This is Tyler Dixon to all Earth forces and our allies. General Grok has surrendered. The Nausicaan threat is neutralized. Stand down from combat operations and begin recovery procedures." As the announcement spread, cheers erupted across Earth's fleet and on the planet's surface. The long shadow of Nausicaan oppression was finally lifting, and a new era for Earth was dawning. In the following days, Tyler oversaw the beginning of the Earth Accord's implementation. The defeat of Grok's forces had not only secured Earth's safety, but had also cemented its position as a major player in galactic affairs. Standing atop a newly constructed tower in the rebuilt New York City, Tyler gazed out at a skyline that now blended human and alien architecture. The sight filled him with a sense of pride and possibility. His contemplation was interrupted by an urgent message from the Global Command Center. "Mr. Dixon," the officer reported, "we've received a distress call from a distant star system. They're seeking Earth's help in resisting an oppressive regime." Tyler felt a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. Earth's trial by fire had forged it into a beacon of hope for others facing similar challenges. He turned from the window, already formulating plans for Earth's first diplomatic and military aid mission. "Assemble the team," he ordered. "It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can do." As preparations began for this new mission, Tyler knew that Earth's greatest adventures were just beginning. The challenges ahead would be formidable, but after everything they had overcome, he had no doubt that humanity was ready to take its place among the stars.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.